guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Tyler Mount, and you're tuned in
to Playbill's The Tyler Mount Vlog.
I am super excited because I brought my new Playbill bestie, Jessica, here today.
Olivia.
For several reasons. A, because I know you really well and you're desperate for fame, so I wanted to give you an outlet to become famous. But most importantly, I asked you because you're a staff writer at Playbill, which means you know more about Broadway than most people on this earth. And if you know anything about me, which you do because we're best friends, you know that I absolutely love Broadway. So with that being said, I asked Jessica to come over today and quiz me on some of the most obscure but 100% real Broadway musicals of Broadway's past. I probably will know them. You obviously know them because you know all things Broadway, but so do I. So are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Flahooly.
Flahooly? That's a real thing? Mm-hmm. Flahooly was probably one of Bette Midler's first shows. It sounds like she was like, super fun, Flahooly, Flahooly, the girl is hard to get, pop, pop, Flahooly,
No,
Flahooly.
wasn't that. If you knew Barbara Cook at all, you would know that she starred in Flahooly about a toy maker who helps out a businessman from Arabia whose magic genie incites a witch hunt and helps bring down capitalism.
That's not real.
It's a classic. Subways are for sleeping.
It had something to do, it's probably like the prequel to In Transit, like the a cappella musical.
Don't you think you would have heard if Subways Are for Sleeping had anything to do with In Transit? Subways Are for Sleeping is a classic. It's about a writer that goes undercover to write stories about homeless men and women on the subway who are very well dressed. As a writer myself, I relate to it a lot.
I guess I was close.
In Transit. It has nothing to do with it.
Wicked or Rent, Wicked or Rent.
Lady in the Dark.
Lady in the Dark, a homeless woman who rose to stardom and fame through her love of singing.
Lady in the Dark is another one of my favorites, another classic for obvious reasons. One day I will be a magazine editor too.
I've literally never heard of any of these.
It's a classic. Merlin.
Oh my god, it's about the wizard Merlin and his wizarding experiences. Kind of like the new Harry Potter musical coming to Broadway, probably.
Nothing to do with Harry Potter. Anyone who knows Chita Rivera's body of work.
I know West Side Story.
Well, this was one of her classic pieces, a magical music show about a young Merlin. It's a classic, another one of my favorites.
So like The Illusionist meets West Side Story?
Nothing to do with The Illusionists. Drat the Cat.
Maybe it has something to do with Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. Maybe it was like a prequel or sequel.
How about you stop trying to relate every show that you don't know to a show that you do know? Drat the Cat is another one of my favorite. It has a strong female lead. It's about a woman in Manhattan, directly relate, and her adventure to becoming a cat burglar when she can't find a steady career here.
That can't be real. That was on Broadway?
A woman's struggle is very real, and yes, the show is real. It was on Broadway.
Okay, we'll move on. I just thought that I would know at least some of these.
Most people know Drat the Cat. Raisin.
I actually know this one. Raisin is the musical adaptation to A Raisin in the Sun. Most people probably wouldn't know that.
Most people do know that because it won a Tony Award. Lorelei.
Lorelei probably has to do with like a newspaper writer who's trying to fit in Paris, starring Glenn Close. Lorelei.
If you knew anything about musical theatre, you would know that Lorelei is a reboot of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, starring Carol Channing.
I think
it's another one of my favorites. It's a classic. Fade in, fade out.
It's like the story of Smash. Fade in on a girl with a hunger for fame and a song and a name to remind. Is that right?
No. It's about a movie usher that inadvertently becomes a really big star.
Okay, I was close, I would like to say. Let's just move on, Jessica.
Olivia. Pretty Belle.
Pretty Belle is the musical adaptation of Gone with the Wind.
Pretty Belle is quite a complicated show. It's not for everyone. It's a musical about a southern woman who finds out her husband was a racist, so to atone for his sins, she allows herself to be raped. Are you smiling? Redhead.
Isn't this the new Bernadette Peters musical coming to Broadway?
No. Redhead has another strong female lead, Essie. She works in a museum in Victorian-era London, and she's working on an exhibit on Jack the Ripper. There are a number of twists and turns. You're on the edge of your seat the entire show, and she meets someone, and in order to try and woo them, she tells them that she's a victim of Jack the Ripper. It's a classic.
Let me guess. one of your favorites.
It is one of my favorites.
Okay, so maybe I don't know as much about Broadway as I thought I did, and definitely not as much as you, but at the end of the day, we're gonna dust off ourselves, and I'll still be listening to the cast recording of Dear Evan Hansen in the office today.
And I'll be listening to Pretty Belle.
I had a great time hanging out with you today. I learned so much about theater history. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Well, my boss made me come, so.
Well, if you liked hanging out with Olivia and I all day, be sure you're following my Broadway journey all year long on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter, and on playbill.com/Tyler. But most importantly, what, Olivia?
Subscribe.
Until next time, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Olivia.
Reminding you to give love.